Ave Maria, everyone. Welcome back to the Roman Martyrology. This is May 8th. At Milan, commemoration of St. Victor Maurus, martyr, who, of Moorish origin, while being a soldier in the imperial army, when forced by Maximian to sacrifice to idols, laid down his weapons and, taken to Lodi, died beheaded by the sword. At Byzantium, St. Agathius, soldier and martyr. At Auxerre in Gallia Lugdunensis, France, St. Helade, bishop. Near Montchit in Egypt, St. Arsenius, who was, according to tradition, deacon of the Church of Rome, having retired to a solitary life in the time of Emperor Theodosius, full of every virtue, he gave up his spirit to God. In the territory of Chalon in France, St. Gibrian, priest, who, coming from Ireland, was a pilgrim for Christ in France. At Bourges, in the region of Aquitaine, France, Saint Desiré, bishop, who was at first keeper of the king's seals and endowed this church with relics of the martyrs. At Saint-Jean, in the territory of Saintes, also in France, Saint Martin, priest and abbot. At Rome, at St. Peter's, St. Boniface IV, Pope, who transformed the temple of the Pantheon obtained from the Emperor Phocas into a church, and dedicated it to God in honor of Blessed Mary and of all the martyrs. He was full of merits also with regard to the monastic life. Also at Rome, St. Benedict II, Pope, who was a lover of poverty, humble and meek, and shone with patience and almsgiving. At Verona, St. Metrone, hermit, who is said to have led an austere life of penance. At Roermond, on the Meuse, in Brabant, in Austrasia, in the territory of the present-day Netherlands, St. Wero, who, together with his companions Plekelm and Otger, is believed to have worked for the evangelization of this region. At Saludecchio, today in Romagna, St. Amato Roncani, famous for his spirit of hospitality and assistance of pilgrims. In the monastery of Santa Maria della Serra, in the Marches, Blessed Angelo Damasaccio, priest of the Camaldolese order and martyr, staunch defender of the observance of the Lord's Day. At Randazzo in Sicily, Blessed Luigi Arrabata, priest of the Carmelite order, very faithful in obedience to the rule, and a shining example of charity towards enemies. In Quebec, in Canada, Blessed Marie Catherine de Saint-Augustin de Simon de Longpré, Virgin of the Hospitaller Sisters of Mercy of the Order of St. Augustine, who, dedicated to the care of the sick, distinguished herself in giving them hope and consolation. In the territory of Hain in Baden in Germany, Blessed Ulrika Nisch, Virgin of the Sisters of Charity of the Holy Cross, who in the humblest services, especially in the duties of assistant cook, proved to be a tireless handmaid of the Lord. In the extermination camp of Auschwitz near Krakow in Poland, Blessed Antonin Behuski, priest of the Order of Friars Minor, Conventual, and Martyr, who, during the raging war, cruelly tortured in prison for his faith, attained the glory of God. And today, we pray especially for our newly elected Pope Leo XIV. Today we celebrated the memory of two saintly popes, and it is our prayer that this newly elected Pope also become one of the saints, because precious in the eyes of the Lord is the death of his saints. Ave Maria.